This broadcast of Cultural Caravan is paid for by Cultural Caravan Productions Incorporated.
Greetings, my name is Louise Dente, and I welcome you to yet another edition of Cultural Caravan. On this edition is a special as we're joined by two very special guests. I'd like to introduce someone who's no stranger to the audience, Dr. Segun Shabaka. He's the board chair and coordinator for the 52nd Annual International African Arts Festival. Welcome, Dr. Shabaka.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me, Sister Louise.
And we're also joined by the publicist, Sister April Silver. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. So tell us, Dr. Shabaka, please tell us, first of all, about, Sister April has been working with you for several decades. Tell us about her role in supporting the promotion of this year's festival.
Well, Sister April is the CEO and founder of Aquila Work Songs, and she has been working with us for 25, 30 years as a PR person, first as a office assistant and then as a coordinator in the office, and now, and for the last few decades, as the public relations director and coordinator for the festival.
For those who may not be familiar with the festival itself, can you briefly tell us a bit about the history of the International African Arts Festival, Dr. Shabaka?
Yes, it would have to be brief because 52 years is a long time. And the history of the festival is very rich and very intricate, in that it came out of an institution called the East Cultural and Educational Center for People of African Descent, which was started in 1969. And the East had several institutions, but perhaps its main institution, at least for those of us who were involved in it, was its school, Uhuru Sasa. It also had a preschool called Imani Daycare, but at Uhuru Sasa, we were always strapped for cash. And so one of the ways that funds were raised was at the end of the school year, we would hold a festival. And that was 1971. And that festival started out as the African Street Carnival. And note that we were Africans from the beginning, okay? And the school was Uhuru Sasa, Freedom Now School, Amani Daycare. So we were Pan-Africanists from the very inception. And we had that as an institution in terms of our staff, our festival vendors, and our students, and our overall concepts and operation. Over the years, we've grown. We left Tinclaver Place in about 1976. We went to Boys and Girls High School. We were there for about 20 something years. And then we left and were on, actually, we were homeless, so to speak. The festival itself was kind of like, you could say, homeless. We were between venues. We were homeless for about 2 years, and we were on Fulton Street. And then from Fulton Street, we went to our current home, which is Commodore Barry Park, downtown Brooklyn, in the Navy Yard vicinity. Bordered by Park Avenue, North Elliott, Flushing Avenue, and Ashland.
Let's talk to Sister April. Talk us about, as your role, when you're thinking about, we want to know what are some of the highlights of the 52nd Annual International African Arts Festival. What are some of the things we're going to see this year?
Well, again, thank you so much for having us. And if I could just start by giving Dr. Segun Shabaka his props for his leadership at the festival and everyone who taught him. I just want to do that. Just, I was raised by my elders, right? So I want to give that respect for sure. But to answer your question more specifically, I think the biggest highlight, to be quite honest with you, about the festival this year and all of the previous years is the fact that Africans are coming together to celebrate one another, to honor each other, to commune and to shop and to enjoy each other's talent and services and our creativity. I would have to say that that is the overarching and the undercurrent, if you will, the top and the bottom and all of the sides about what makes festivals so important and what the biggest highlight is. I don't a year hasn't gone by before I entered the festival family in 1995, and even now, a year doesn't go by where people don't get nourished just by being around Africans from all over the globe, and to be amongst Africans and to be safe and to feel comfortable and affirmed. The thing that we talk about a lot that I myself and others try to remind people, and for those who don't know, that we are family friendly. This is the one of the few places that you can come to every year and know that from your toddler or even your if you're a mom who's breastfeeding a child of a couple of months old, all the way to someone in their 90s, like the festival is a safe space for the entire family, and we talk about that a lot, and that's the labor of love that really guides the work. So in addition to the to narrow it down even more, we have our performances, right? We have the main stage, we have stages for children, we have activities for children and young people in a youth talent search. We also have a hair fashion show, we have a health pavilion, we have the merchants, the vendors, the artisans, whichever label you want to put on it. So these are vendors who are coming from every corner of the world. Yes, from Brooklyn, yes, from New York, yes, from the East Coast in the United States, but from the continent as well. There are vendors who've been coming for years, and this is their biggest payday. So it's a reciprocal relationship where we feed each other economically, and as consumers, we get world-class art and gifts to purchase, and and clothing and all kinds of things. And of course, there's the food as well that is also a highlight. So those are just some of the key highlights. Oh, well, if I may, maybe we can talk about the intellectual component, which is the symposium that is a major part of the festival every year as well.
The symposium is guided by the National Association of Kawaida Organizations. And of course, Sister Louise, you know that the East and the festival is guided by the Nguzo Saba. These are two philosophical concepts given to us by Dr. Maulana Karanga, who's the national chair of NACO. And so the symposium is our opportunity to bring together scholars, activists, and intellectuals who are engaged in the myriad of issues that confront and challenge our community. And so we discuss those issues. And they, of course, are from people that are involved in these things, and it's a global perspective. So we'll be talking about Africa, we'll be talking about the Caribbean, and various issues in the US. And of course, this is important because the festival arguably is the oldest festival celebrating African culture in this country and perhaps the world. I'm looking for a counter because I don't know of any events that are older than that celebrates and actually exemplify Pan-African culture and Pan-African struggle in the in terms of the level that we have presented over the past 52 years.
So let's now look at talk about some of the featured performers. You usually scour the globe, it seems like, to find performers throughout the diaspora. So can you tell us, both of you, who some of these featured artists are this year?
Well, I know for one we have Shirley Sky from Haiti, who's going to be joining us again. She was with us for Libation in May, Mother's Day weekend. She'll be returning. And I want to give her a shout out because she's a younger artist for sure. I only know her music through what I've seen on YouTube, and it's amazing. But I think she represents a younger generation of artists who are picking up the baton, or picking up the mantle of understanding that music has a purpose that is healing. So it can be entertaining, it can be nourishing, but it's also healing, and it should be focused on the collective good. And I'll just talk about this one, and Dr. Shabaka, you could talk about the others, but the way that she embraced the festival without anybody asking, she was very much promoting not just her performance, but the fact that people should come and enjoy this gathering. The audience should know we'll be at Commodore Barry Park, like you said, July 1st through the 4th this year.
Also on the bill, we have local as well as national and international artists, as April has alluded to. Along with Sister Shirley Sky, we have Sita Rodriguez from Puerto Rico. We have the Wazumbians from Ghana. We have Jackie Ribas from Brazil. We have British Dependency from the Caribbean, as well as Grammy-nominated group Raging Fire from Jamaica. So those are just some of the groups that will be performing on our main stage. And again, you know that I mentioned the different areas, so you can see the true and consistent Pan-African nature of the International African Arts Festival. And so these groups are a tribute to and celebration of African culture. And as April said, from our stage to our presentation throughout the event, it is a family affair.
Thank you for sharing that, because as you were talking, it's very clear that the festival is for everyone. I mean, when I go through, there's a section where there's nothing but music, disco music, and you have brothers and sisters from all ages dancing and shaking their groove thing. And that's what some of them, that's for them. They want to come
That's
and
it.
dance. And then you have the children's activities. You have people who want to see the fashion show. You have, and then there's a whole suite of health suites where people want to go get their holistic health regimen. They get massages and health advice. So it's like it's transformed. That space at Commodore Barry Park is transformed to an African village for those 4 days. And folks really get a dose of various things. So you come for whatever you're looking for, you can get it. Okay, like for example, the health suite. I know that you have some of the finest massage therapists around to come. The African Holistic Network, I know, is there. And then you have Sister Soraya in her, you have other people who deal with children's activities. So when you talk about how long did it take you, the festival, to get to this level where you have several, I'm not going to ask you how many acts, how long does it take to organize something like this, Brother Segun?
All year. We
Wow.
organize all year round.
Mm,
It's a labor of love and tremendous sacrifice. And
mm.
so you have to duplicate April a few dozen times, because we have uh, several dozen coordinators
Mm.
that are involved in the production of this event. So it is no minor feat to carry
Mhm.
this out every year. And every year we challenge by city, uh, you know, different kinds of coordinates and stipulations and requirements that we have to overcome. So, but we have a team and we refining that team. And so every year the challenge is there, but we meet it. We have to meet it because you know the old proverb adage says that obstacles are what you run into when you take your mind off the goal. And so we don't get distracted by the obstacles. We know we got to get to this goal and we're going to have festivals. So a lot of people don't even realize how challenging it is because they come out there and they see it. It looks boom, but it's
Mhm.
getting there. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Believe me, a
well,
lot of work.
that's the testament to your leadership and those that you have around you. So it's because people shouldn't see all that other stuff. They shouldn't, they're coming to enjoy the fact
Mm.
that everything they come in and they're just able to be immersed in culture is really a testament to the well-oiled machine, Brother Segun and Sister April and everyone in your team has done so that when you walk in, they're just enjoying it. And that comes to the vendors. The vendors are, some of us come every year. For some of these vendors have become for decades. How many vendors, if you give me a rough estimate to how many vendors make up festival on the average?
Anywhere between 2 and 300. Since COVID, we're down, but we hope to get back up to between 250, 300
Wow.
this year. And I might say that the vendors are the foundation of the festival. The festival is, I like to say, and your patrons or your audience needs to understand this because they have to keep us afloat and they have to help us not just survive but grow and develop because inherent in development is survival. A lot of times as African people we talk about survival. No, we got to talk about development because part of uh, development, you already past survival. Your mindset has changed. And so we're gonna be asking and we asking that people make contributions to our institution by going to our website for information about it as well as contributions. And that website is www.iaafestival, www.iaafestival.
Just really briefly, when I first started, I'm a native New Yorker, but my adolescent years were in Los Angeles with my family. And then when it was time for me to go to school, I came back to the East Coast to go to Howard, right? So after that, I came back to my native uh, place here and first came to the festival maybe in the early 90s and thought it was amazing at Boys and Girls High School. And just it was just the place to be. And so to the short version of the story is I think this was the year that festival at the gate went from $3 to $5, right? Even if I'm off a dollar or two, you get the point. And I was up in arms and I had an attitude that I was like, why can't it be free? This is early 90s. And I had an attitude. I had not met anybody from festival. I was just a regular goer to the festival that loved it and was mad like a whole bunch of other people that the price went up because I thought that that wasn't fair. Somewhere along the line, thanks to Joanne Cheatham, may she rest in peace, and Julia Shaw, I was connected to the inner workings, and that's how I got the job as office coordinator under the leadership of Mze Moyo. May he rest in peace. And Mensa Wali, who was the chair at the time, he's still with us giving thanks. But it wasn't until these two women ushered me into this opportunity to work for the festival, right? And then I got intimate with the inner workings. And I was so embarrassed that I had an attitude that criticized the organization amongst my family only, that they had the audacity to go from $3 to $5 until I saw the inner workings because I started working there. And I think it's important for people to know that when you see sponsorship dollars, or you see people walking around with t-shirts, and when we're at our best, we're a well-oiled machine, those sponsorship dollars are, we're not talking about 50, $60,000 that we're getting from any of the corporate sponsors or any of our supporting elected officials. We're not talking about tens and thousands of dollars. We could be talking about 1,500 or 2,000, or just something low for a operation that is hundreds of times more than that. And it's also important for the community to understand, whether you agree with it or not, the festival has had a stance from the very beginning that it does not accept sponsorship from alcohol or wine and spirits companies, nor from tobacco or cigarette companies. Whether you agree with it or not, it's a principled stand, given the negative impact that alcohol and cigarettes and tobacco have on our community in a disproportionate way. So there's plenty of opportunity for the festival to go get tens and tens and thousands of dollars from beer companies or what have you, but it doesn't, based on its principles. So I say that to say that I was one of the ones on the outside who was critical, and didn't think that festivals should charge the community anything, until I understood, until I got on the inside and saw what it takes to run the organization, and to have all the different amazing coordinators doing their best, and what it takes to build the stage from scratch. I just wanted to share that story so that we could be mindful of any critiques, or to watch our tongues sometimes when we criticize organizations. It would be better if people could come out and donate what they can. Festival, like any other organization, can do better in a lot of ways, and we're working diligently to always do better this year than we were last year. But we need that from our community as well, and we need that financial support. We need the positive energy. We need the expectation from our community that we are going to get better every year. But that comes with a commitment and a promise. And so we ask that people give what they can. We know that $5 or $10 might be hard for some people, but we also know that there are some people where 5 or 10 or $20 is nothing. So we just ask that people give what they can.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you, sis, for sharing that. And, one of the things about this broadcast is about bringing our people to the living room to actually speak to the movers and shakers. And we talk about Dr. Shabaka, yourself, those who are behind the scenes making this happen. So I know there are people out there who go to festival who are interested in coming this year. And just knowing what goes into it is so critical. And what I'm going to say is, because we're running low on time, I want us to give yourself and Dr. Shabaka to tell us the website where people can find out information about the location, about what to do and when to go, and the dates.
Again, the website is www.iaafestival.org. www.iaafestival.org. People can buy rapid entry tickets, which we encourage, and which is very supportive of the financial foundation of festival. They can buy VIP tickets.
I just want to, first of all, thank you both for joining us and really giving us a little backdrop on the history of festival, why it's so important that we celebrate each and every year, an opportunity to celebrate ourselves, which is what it is. And we want to really, again, take this opportunity to sincerely thank you, Dr. Shabaka, for your years of commitment as a young man all the way to now, keeping it real, keeping the traditions going as you have been. I think I remember you as a little girl. I'm saying, and I like that. But I remember you there at the foot of, in Zay, when you're and all these other brothers and sisters who are really the ancestors who really laid that foundation. So we sincerely thank you for keeping it going. And I want to thank Sister April Silver for your commitment to the culture and your support of the work. And it's really a great opportunity for us to celebrate the work, and we look forward to an opportunity to give people an opportunity to some of the highlights of the great work. And we look forward to celebrating festivals throughout this month. Again, on behalf of Cultural Caravan, we want to thank you, and please continue.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you having us. Thank you very much, Sister Louise.
I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast, and we continue to encourage you to tune in, to write, and to tell a friend. And please visit our website at www.ccptv.org. But until next time, Louise Dente saying thank you.
C'est qui doit la piquer. Yo l'autre coquin fait me commencer bouquet. Pour que je la go cacher.
This broadcast of Cultural Caravan is paid for by Cultural Caravan Productions Incorporated.